Season 6, episode 1. Melisandre's really an old lady. What the fuck?
Hang with us, we're retweeting and sharing.
This is Luke Watson. I am Joe Grazzi. That's a good version of the song.
It's solid.
It's pretty good.
It's solid. I've heard better.
Is it true that George R. R. Martin wrote that song? I think I read that in the credits yesterday.
I mean, if
feel free to chime in if he wrote the song. Chime in.
If
I'm
he
very
wrote
curious.
the song, he deserves like the Nobel Peace
Prize. I think he
Prize.
did write the song. Song Fire and Ice by George R. R. Martin.
Well, I don't think that's what they mean.
Oh.
Well, all right. Sorry, guys.
Well then.
I'm just retweeting. Bear with us. Also, what's the story with Conor McGregor and the UFC?
That would be the wrong. I actually kind of do know what's going on over there. I think some retirement or non-retirement. But we're not talking about boxing. We're talking about Game of Thrones.
UFC
season 6, episode 1. Oh, that's right. And they didn't meld it all into one yet.
They're that's why it's mixed martial arts.
They're going to meld it at some point.
All right, gang. So the tweets are out there. Be sure to restream. Send some friends our way. We're going to talk about last night's episode of Game of Thrones. So if you did not see,
do not watch this.
Yes,
do not just watch this. If you just want to watch this instead of the episode, we're kind of okay with that.
We'll sum it up for you.
We'll be your annoying Cliff Notes. I've done that before. I'll
be Cliff. You be Note.
I kind of want to be Cliff, but you know what? Done. We'll let you take it.
All right.
So this, I guess, was kind of the table-setting episode, being the fancy term I'll give it. It really setting everything up and bringing us, really sucking us back into that world. I was sucked in, for sure.
Lil Lady, speaking of things that sucked, Lil Lady, thank you for joining, says Dorne was so bad.
It was terrible, but we're not quite up to that yet, but that definitely was a bloodbath. That was a very quick
do you mean it was bad because it was dumb story-wise, or it was bad because, like, within the
nice
story?
Prince got killed. He was like a nice dude, one of the only ones.
Yeah, because I kind of, like, I was into seeing what Dorne was going to get up to this season. He's like, whenever they cast him, first of all, I'm a Star Trek guy, and he's from Star Trek.
Whenever they casted the young prince.
No, when they cast Doran, the king of Dorne.
Yeah.
And I was kind of excited, and then he didn't really get to do anything.
No, I mean, he was kind of the cripple in the wheelchair. There wasn't really much he could do.
DFW Pulse says so much for the Dornish master plan.
Yes.
There's a new Dornish master plan.
Now it's the snakes.
Nymeria and the Sand Snakes.
Now it's going to be the Sand Snakes. I guess they're going to take over. And it definitely seemed like she has the entire army and Dorne with her. They killed that huge bodyguard, and that was the end of it. They took over. No one else stopped them.
I mean,
the Meister ran away.
And Lil Lady says, why kill Doran when they could have had the whole Dornish master plan? The Sand Snakes work in mysterious ways. I don't know. I mean, this is something that's actually a little different than the books.
Well, the books are done.
The books, but the things that set this into motion, with Marcella being poisoned, and so the show in the season 5 finale, actually went off the rails.
Right.
And so what's happening in
Dorne... Right, because Daenerys was not supposed to meet Tyrion. And
that's a whole other thing.
Right.
We'll get to that. See, I'm trying to read your comments. Yeah.
Our technology's a little off, but we're making do with what we have.
There's a delay because we're really far away from the phone, so I have to bring you up here.
Our camera's actually being held by hair ties and rubber bands right now, but it's holding.
And I got a box of macaroni and cheese.
I see no shake by macaroni and cheese.
Right.
This episode brought to you by Kraft. Excellent. Right. Thank you, Kraft.
Okay. So, Odd One says the episode was flat. There was no wow.
There's only so much they can pack in. I'd like to think there's only so much they can pack in. It's really a reminder episode of everything.
Yeah, I think it was sufficient. I remember season 5, right? Last season, the first 4 or 5 episodes were really, really slow, I think.
Yeah. But in retrospect, they weren't. If you watch the whole... All right, here's a question that the audience can chime in on. Why... I feel like 100% of the Game of Thrones audience, if given the chance, would prefer a Netflix method where you get all 10 episodes at the same time.
That's a good question. If you could just binge the 10 episodes of Game of Thrones,
I would have done it last night.
I mean, how many people would have just burned through it?
I'm telling you, while the episode was going on, once I was sucked back in, I find myself every once in a while checking to see where the bar is, to see how much I have left. And then I get let down. I know it's going to end. It works for so many, House of Cards, all these amazing
like
shows.
Daredevil, but I kind of like that it's prolonged because otherwise I would binge and I would have nothing to look forward to.
Right, but I don't think that you'd find any episode to be slow if you had all of them.
Right.
So it's got to be an advertisement thing. They want to advertise the other HBO shows.
Well, they want you to subscribe.
They want you to subscribe.
You only need to subscribe for 24 hours if you can binge all the season at once.
Right. But I would bet 100% of Throne watchers would prefer all 10 episodes at the same time. Right?
Joseph Otello, yes, binge, odd one. I would watch all 10 at once. 10 screens, you would just watch them.
Well, the world could shut down for a day or for 10 hours, whatever it is, and let's do this.
Nukes, who has an awesome name, says I would pay extra for that.
I was thinking that. I would throw an extra $10 into my HBO subscription if I got all those
And Bill
episodes.
Lady summed it up by saying they need more episodes at least because 10 episodes is not enough. And they're saying that there's really supposed to only be 2 seasons left.
Right, and short seasons too.
So you think 10 episodes now is not enough?
Yeah.
Wait until next season whenever it's like...
There's like 20 hours of Thrones left in existence, but then hopefully we'll go into those weird miniseries like we spoke about last time. But without getting off track.
Right.
But I did want to talk about that binge thing, and I guess that has to be an HBO commercial reason for that.
Obama already has the whole season.
He definitely...
I don't know if he has the whole season.
I bet he does. I bet he has the whole season. It's already out. They're already probably filming the next ones.
He's worked for it.
You know, it's funny. All right, well, let's start the episode off. And so let me ask you this. This does really take place the next day.
After what we saw in the
literally
season finale. And I just wanted to talk about that season finale from season 5 because I watched it right before the premiere last night, which I think most of us did. Did you watch the season finale? Yeah. I forgot how much was crammed.
I watched the 10-minute recap.
Well, I forgot how much was crammed into that episode. It was like 5 episodes worth of developments that happened in the finale. So to go from that to this, I don't feel like last night's episode was a letdown. I really don't.
I was not let down at all.
I know some people were complaining, saying it was uneventful or there was not enough wow. But I think that coming off of that finale...
They're setting up new future wows.
Right. So I'm okay with it. I think we're off to a better start than we were last season because I still feel like last season was a little slow. Just a little slow.
They had parts, but again, if you, in retrospect, it all makes sense. If you watch them as 10 episodes, none of them seem slow.
And Odd One says that finale was spectacular.
Absolutely.
And Josu says this episode 8 out of 10. I think.
Okay, I'll take 2 points away from action. Even though there was some pretty cool action. But let's get into it.
Let's hit the main thing first, right? While we have probably the most viewers, but feel free to share and restream and bring some more people in. Instead of going through episode, actually it is kind of like development by development if we start with...
Jon Snow is killed, and then it goes right to his body. Well, first you hear... I got really emotional at the beginning just hearing Ghost howl. The sound of him howling sucked me right back in. Yeah. And I was there. I was present again, and
Davos finds the body.
Absolutely.
It seems like whenever he goes up to him, it's like you can almost tell it feels like the blood is still warm.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool the way they brought it in. But how many of you were actually irritated that we didn't get any Jon Snow resurrection last night?
Here's one thing. It's funny because usually when I'm rewatching, I'll skip the musical interlude, the 10-minute musical interlude at the beginning. But when I'm watching them live,
that's the best part.
Don't tell anyone. Even though we're live, don't tell anyone.
You go
exactly. But so I watched all the first credits, and the first name that comes up on the right is Kit Harington. And it's like, boom.
It was just out of respect.
Right.
Out of respect for the dead.
But that in itself was like, all right, he's obviously coming back at some point. We know kind of how he's going to come back, but if I were the writers of Game of Thrones doing episode to episode, I'd milk it a little bit. At least till the 4th episode.
Right, and that brings to the next point.
I don't think they're going to wait till the 10th.
No, Lil Lady says, what episode do you think will see Jon's resurrection? And this assumes that Jon will be resurrected. Are we all on the same page here?
Unless his body is getting paid to be in it. I mean, it's starring Kit Harington. It's no longer starring Jackie Gleason. That is his name, right?
Jackie Gleason?
Yeah. Or Jack Gleason.
Oh, yeah.
Not the
Jack
Honeymooners
Gleason.
guy.
Right.
The King Joffrey is also Jackie Gleason. Right. It's a confusing thing. Very different types of characters, but both women.
Do you think he was named after Jackie Gleason?
I hope not.
So, are we all on the same page? Jon Snow is coming back. This isn't even a question.
Unless Game of Thrones is so Game of Thrones that he doesn't.
No.
I agree with you, but if any show could pull that much of a ridiculous curveball, I would give it to Game of Thrones.
Tila Toy, yes, I'm with you. We stand together.
Yeah.
What's this? Neum? Neum? I saw Kit Harington in
no
Belfast.
one has normal screen names anymore.
He was there in Belfast for the whole filming time.
Yeah, but that was the whole year already. That's why he had long hair and everything.
And
he's coming back.
Kate Arena, 007, hopefully before half season. That is a good point, because I feel like I'm okay with him not coming back last night, because there was a lot to set up.
I'm glad he didn't come back last night.
I'm okay with it. It gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But if it's like episode 5, I feel like maybe that's a little... It depends on what happens between now and then.
Right.
But that feels like a little long to wait.
Agreed.
So...
He did become... What episode last season does he become Lord Commander? That's already by the second season, the second episode, I think.
Was it that early?
Yeah, pretty early.
I don't know. And Sacri94, HBO is firm on the stance that Jon is dead. Yes, but...
Starring Kit Harington again.
He's coming back to life.
He's coming back to life.
Dude is dead until he's resurrected.
Let's talk about Melisandre, speaking of first scenes, because I'd like to think, and obviously we do all think that she's the one that's going to resurrect her. We know that religion has the power to do it.
The Lord of Light.
Why? And she's there. So be it. I found it interesting that since her character's introduction, this is really the first time where she seems totally lost. She's not sure what to do.
She's been the firmest believer in this Lord of Light and these visions, and that Stannis is the chosen one, and then she's just had her whole belief system destroyed because everything she thought was true, she knows is no longer true.
Right.
Stannis lost the battle. Stannis did not take Winterfell. Stannis... She probably knows he's dead, or assumes he's dead, or doesn't even care because
like
he's not
she said,
her guy anymore.
During the last season, she was saying she never prophesized Stannis walking through Winterfell. It was her walking through Winterfell.
Right.
So even if Stannis died, her visions could have still come true.
So I'm of the belief that Melisandre is going to bring Jon back. I see a couple people are saying Jon has to be a White Walker.
I don't see that happening.
I don't think it makes sense. I think that the thing about Melisandre and the Lord of Light, yes, she's the Red Priestess, but there are a number of people that have this power. Right?
It did seem like the White Walkers looked at him in Hardhome and were like, that guy's formidable, he'd probably make a great White Walker.
Like, let's recruit that
Let's
guy.
get that guy.
We're scouting.
They're going to be going that way.
Right? He's got a great sword.
I'll tell you this, he's a White Walker or being resurrected till they burn his body. They're going to have to burn his body.
They would have to burn his body, but that's why Davos is protecting him, because they need the body to bring it back to life.
Right, and also, once again, Onion Knight is my favorite character. He's just so awesome. All of his dialogue is fantastic.
And he's fantastic. I love that guy.
He's the ultimate grandpa. Like, he's the dad everyone
I would love to
wants.
see him take over the Watch, because...
Even though his son burned to death because of him, whatever. We'll get,
nobody's
I think
perfect.
he's redeemed himself. Nobody's perfect in the Game of Thrones.
But I'm glad he's got this vital part. Now he lost Stannis. He was Stannis' guy. There is no Stannis. So now he's Jon's guy. But...
he's everyone's consigliere.
He's great.
It's fantastic.
But, so we saw several seasons ago the other guys that the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Right, Thoros of Myr.
Right, so he brought somebody back to life.
Like 12 times.
And he says, I've done this many times.
But Melisandre didn't know how.
Ain't no thing.
Right.
but we know that he practices the same religion, and therefore, if Melisandre is powerful enough, she should be able to do it. Which brings me to the next point.
Maybe you have to be drunk the whole time to be able to do
maybe
it.
she's been covering, she's been using her power, right? She's been draining her power
To be young.
to look young, and maybe the reason she got naked and quit disguising herself is to recharge her batteries to do this great feat of bringing Jon Snow back.
That's a very good point. I was wondering yesterday, first of all, definitely chime in on this. I actually Google imaged a couple of pictures of her. Is she wearing that necklace in every scene that she has in all episodes?
I think so.
So,
yeah.
Are we to assume? I was kind of ultra freaked out when that happened. Does she go to bed like that?
Some people are saying no.
Right, so I'm not sure.
She has it off in a bath scene.
In a bath scene.
Does she? Why did we not notice it while she was in the bath that she wasn't wearing it?
That's a very good point. I usually hone in on those scenes and rewatch them.
I usually look at all the costume
again.
details whenever Melisandre's naked.
Yeah, Thrones actually emails me a nude cut so I could just watch the nudity, but I always thought there was a necklace involved.
Maybe it lasts for a little longer after
I was wondering, do you think so?
Maybe they just made it up because they're no longer on book.
Right.
Like,
so be it. Or maybe she was more powerful then, and now
if it's not the necklace, it's the potion.
Right, that's what someone was saying. It could be the potion that she took. The question is, I got freaked out and was like, oh, does she go to bed like that every night? Is that what she looks like most of the time?
Some people sleep naked, some people sleep in their underwear, some people sleep as a...
Is that her Batman, and criminals only know Batman?
Right.
But when she's Bruce Wayne, she's that, And I don't want to call her terrifying because that is what an old lady looks like naked. But very rarely do you see, and I mean that's some,
I think
some,
she's older
some
than an
shiny
old lady,
stuff.
I think she's like older than an old lady.
No, but a naked 95-year-old lady standing there is going to look like that.
Well, yeah, I guess.
And that wasn't her in prosthetics. I think they actually got an old lady.
I don't know. Was that her in prosthetics?
It looked like her eyes.
Maybe
there was some CGI involved. I don't know. Chime in on that. I'd be curious.
Because
we could do prosthetics. Benjamin Button's done that with CGI.
No. Neum says it's a continuity issue. They've done this a few times. Boss Jones, thank you for joining us again, boss. So Stannis was having sex with an old woman. LOL. I did think about that.
Because she's so old that's almost statutory.
Well, that wasn't
You're 500 years older than Stannis.
But I wasn't even thinking about like Stannis. I was thinking like she gave birth to the Shadow Monster.
Yes.
As an old woman, like she's got a pretty robust reproductive system.
Oh, her fertility doctor is amazing. Shout out to her fertility doctor.
Probably.
Absolutely. So anyway, moving on to the next scene. So she's there. She doesn't know what's going on. She's lost. And now all of a sudden we're back in Winterfell. Right. So let's get there. And Roose Bolton, who definitely apparently loved, what was her name?
Ramsay?
Oh, that's
Ramsay.
right.
Ramsay.
Yeah. Ramsay Bolton.
What was the quote? He says, I wrote it down, your pain will be paid for 1,000 times over. I wish you could be here to watch.
Yeah.
So,
and then he totally, the other terrifying quote, oh, should I burn her? No, it's good meat, feed it to the dogs. That wasn't the quote, but something insane like that.
He's sentimental in all the right ways.
Oh, but only up to an extent.
In a few wrong ways.
Only up to an extent. And he's a little fucked, and now double fucked, because it seems like the best thing that ever happened to him was becoming a Bolton.
Right.
He's more afraid of getting unboltoned than actually dying, it seems like.
And Noop says it just shows how twisted he is, as if we needed a reminder.
We didn't need a reminder.
Odd one, I want Ramsay to die so badly.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to get...
And, your name faded, he's Stan Crazy.
But like I said, someone like that, Ramsay seems genuinely more disturbed by the idea of losing his name than his life.
That's probably all he ever wanted. Just like Jon Snow had admitted, all he ever wanted to be was a star.
Yeah, and him losing Sansa, what's even worse is now Brienne has her. Brienne and Pod, who learned how to fight pretty quickly.
I was waiting for him to die. I was bracing myself. Did you guys think... Did you think this was going to be Podrick's last episode? Because I really was like...
He's expendable.
I was ready for him to die. Neum says Pod is so dead this season.
He's so dead.
And Boss Jones, Ramsay's death will be a great scene when it happens.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. I loved Joffrey because
he's the character you love to hate.
I love to hate Joffrey.
You can't hate someone you love.
I go back and watch the old episodes, and I genuinely miss Joffrey because he was so great at being bad.
Yeah.
And so I
He
feel
was
like,
part of what made Game of Thrones Game of Thrones.
and I feel like
From the very
Ramsay's
beginning.
filling that void in my heart.
Yeah.
My black
Even though
heart.
Roose is more psychotic.
Yeah, but Ramsay's more entertaining.
More
Ramsay's
entertaining.
a showman.
Yeah.
And so, as much as everyone wants to see Ramsay die,
I think the creators know that
I hope he sticks around for
Yeah.
a while.
we wanted Joffrey dead from season 1, but they kept
And
him
we got
alive.
it, and be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. We know he's going to die. We don't know how bad it's going to be. I have no idea who's going to do it. I really have no idea.
Maybe
Who
Jon
deserves
Snow.
to kill him the most besides Theon?
Well, Theon.
Yeah.
I mean, Reek.
Yeah, Reek Theon today. They love doing that. That's how.
He was the epicenter of hate.
Yeah, that's how
That goes on a resume, people.
the epicenter of hate.
Well, I have 10 years experience as the epicenter of hate.
And just the middle of hate. I'm in the middle of the average of hate. Done. Love that. Perfect.
And yes, Jen Lindsay says, I love Joffrey. He was a better villain than Ramsay.
Right.
Which is true. And because nobody is better than Joffrey.
There was more reasoning behind his madness. To me,
Ramsay's
that's for sure.
death should be more epic than Joffrey. That's an interesting point as well. Odd One points out. And
Joffrey's
Because-
death was not just a blow to Joffrey, it was a blow to Cersei and Jaime also.
yeah,
So
I'm
it
okay
was
with the
that.
way Joffrey died, but
Yeah.
I think people probably wanted to see him tortured. But
It's
I
not gonna
don't
happen.
think that was him. I think
Yeah.
that Ramsay getting really brutally killed makes more sense given his actions.
Right.
Like, I think Joffrey being poisoned whenever he's, like, up on his high horse thinking that he's all that and a bag of chips.
Which he kind of has proven to be. He did win those battles. I mean, he's the one that decimated.
He was the hero of Blackwater.
He's the one knight of.
I love
The snow
when they
motion.
show that statue of Joffrey with his crossbow and
Oh,
his,
and the
his
dead
foot on
wolf?
The wolf. That is. If
Do you
I,
think that was CGI or did they build that statue?
Oh,
I'd
I
love
hope-
to have that. I'd
That's what I
love
was
to
about
have
to say.
that.
If I was like an eccentric millionaire with this
Yeah.
big like garden,
I would want that in my garden for
That's
sure.
right in the middle.
Absolutely. So after all this happens, do we see hope for Sansa for the first time since season 1? Literally, the only
Yeah.
glimmer of hope
Well,
she's
she's
kind of
with
had was
Brienne
with
now.
Littlefinger, but
She's
that's
with
not hope.
Brienne. Brienne's like
Right.
or wrong, Brienne's going to stick with her. Like she's finally got someone she can count on.
Someone that actually has good intentions towards her.
Right.
Littlefinger did not.
No ulterior motive.
No ulterior motive. So this is kind of a first in years for her that she's finally in good hands. And I don't know where Brienne's going to bring her. Where is she safe? Where could they possibly go?
Well, they're
My heart dropped when Theon was like, go north to the wall.
Yeah, that would be.
And I was like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, go there.
We
Go
have
there.
a lot of comments. Let me read some of these. So, Aldramec, what about the romance between Jaime and Brienne? I don't know if they'll ever be reunited.
It's a good question, though. I was thinking about, do you think Brienne will have a love scene? Or are they going to kill her before that happens?
No, I don't think that it's in the cards for her. And I think it's all Jaime and Cersei. I don't think Brienne fits in it. I think we had a great season with Brienne and Jaime
Right.
on the run together, and it was really
She
dynamic.
humanized Jaime big time.
But I think it's done. I don't
Right.
think we're going to see anymore. I
Right.
think their paths are just diverged. Odd One says Theon is going to eat Ramsay after Sansa murders him.
I don't know. He did that cool. Game of Thrones loves doing that from the back thrust
Oh,
with the cool position. That's how
Yeah.
they killed the Prince of Dorne, just like
Yeah.
right through the head.
Yeah, they surprised
That's
him, 'cause you don't see it
how
coming.
Jon Snow kills. What's the dude's name that leads the rebellion against? The dude that fucks all his daughters or whatever.
you mean it wasn't Jon
The guy
Snow.
drinking out of the skull. Really awesome character. You have to hate.
Craster.
Something like that.
But it wasn't Craster, it was the guy that killed Craster.
Yeah, but right through the back of the head.
Right, that was cool.
And to see Theon do that he Theoned up. That was his first time to just be awesome again.
Yeah, Theon's trying to come back.
Yeah.
Which big character is going to get killed off this season? Which big character won't get killed off this season? I think is a better question. I think we're coming into the
I
end.
said last week that I thought Braun was an expendable but
Braun
amazing character.
Braun is an amazing character, totally expendable.
Yeah.
They could kill him off.
Pod would
They
be
could kill
someone like that.
Podrick.
Although I love, and Braun's from the beginning.
They could kill Brienne.
They could kill Brienne.
And I'm not advocating this because I like all these characters, but they could.
And again, we are not prophets. We don't know, so that's not.
I think Tyrion is probably fairly safe because everybody,
they're not.
George R.R. Martin loves him. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's got his whole story going.
Maybe Varys gets it.
Maybe. I don't know if there's any major character like upper tier, which would be like, well, Jon Snow's already dead, so I think he's safe.
Right.
He's back. Daenerys, Tyrion. Are there any other characters? Sansa, I guess, is kind of Arya.
Tommen. Because remember, she starts. Okay. So now we're in King's Landing, and Cersei is talking about that witch, and she's saying everything has come true. 3 children you'll have, and their crowns will be gold, and their shrouds will be gold. So she's under the impression that Tommen's going to die.
Oh, he's totally.
So maybe he's going to die this.
He's totally going to die.
And can we also talk about, does Cersei and Jaime care about him? Because they're embracing, it's only us. It's just me and you. They don't mention him once. No. That they still have a living son.
That was a little weird.
So I don't think they care about him. And if you watch, obviously, I'm assuming 99.9% of you watch the trailer for tomorrow's episode. They try to get to the king, and he obviously doesn't want to be seen, and they have to use the Franklin Mountain to get to the king, right?
I can't wait to see the mountain go crazy on everyone.
What are you going to do? You can't stab him and stuff like that.
Niam says Marjorie's brother, Loras, is going to die. I'd say he's somebody that's probably pretty expendable.
Maybe. Did you see a glimmer of religious hope in Marjorie's eyes when the High Sparrow walked out?
I tell you, I zoned out during that scene.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I just zoned out. I was tweeting or something.
You think the High Sparrow's going to get it?
If the mountain...
Jaime's going to meet him next week.
Oh, I think Cersei's days are numbered. That'd be an interesting twist. Cersei's definitely in that upper echelon.
You think the Lannisters are done?
I think they're on their way out.
I mean, we did say last week, we do know, at least in my opinion, this is all heading towards Daenerys with the Second Sons, the Dothraki, her dragons, and the Unsullied versus, and everyone else versus the White Walkers. I mean, it has to be gearing towards that, and there's no room for Lannisters.
Well, no, there's no room for Well, I think that
unless Jaime bends the knee to her, which I assume if she lands with dragons, they would.
So what I think is going to happen...
They don't know those dragons exist.
They're not even worried about the dragons.
They don't know.
They don't know. They
literally
care.
Don't know.
The only people that were concerned about that were Varys whenever he was there.
And Tywin.
And
Tywin knew.
Tywin, Tyrion. But now it's just Cersei and Jaime. Cersei's all about Cersei.
I would pay extra money, and hopefully I won't have to, and it'll just happen, to see Tyrion re-meet Cersei, but with dragons and Daenerys. That's going to be...
I think the Dorne...
Or maybe that won't even happen.
I think they're going to wipe each other out, and the Tyrells, Marjorie, she's going to be 0 for what? 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 with her husbands, trying to be the queen?
She is not someone you want to marry. That's for sure.
She's bad luck.
Right.
And yes,
you definitely want to date her, for sure. Don't marry her.
Don't marry her. Bad luck. And we are late to read. I'm sorry, there's a delay. I can't read the screen that's so far away from me, so I'm getting them on my computer. It's a little slow.
This is how we roll.
We're a little slow.
We're slow. We're old. Two old guys.
This is why we watch TV and we don't read the books. It takes us too long.
Yeah, I'm drinking prune juice right now. That's how old I am.
So I'm going to jump ahead to some of the comments. First of all, Boss Jones.
Prune juice.
I think the Hound is still alive, and the Hound will kill a mountain, which makes sense.
Oh, I like that.
I like that the Hound has his revenge on the mountain.
You think he's still alive?
But I don't know if he's still alive.
I'm not 50-50 on that. If I was a gambling man, which I am, I would gamble that he's not alive. I had to put my money down.
I give him
There's too many other characters to keep these people alive.
Give 15%
That's like you
off.
saying last week that is Stannis really dead?
Yeah, and the only reason I say that...
There's too many people involved.
He doesn't make any sense anymore, so get rid of him.
Yeah.
And focus on the characters that we need to
And the
wrap
Hound
this up.
doesn't need to make sense anymore. No. Unless, do you think the Hound's going to come back and see the Frankenmountain and be like, oh my god, my brother's grown 2 feet since I've last seen him? My brother's been recast 4 times since I've last seen him. Do I still hate him?
I'm just glad
the character he hated is a different actor now. So
does he hate him less when he's recast?
I don't know.
Josu says he's alive. He is. Look up the Gravedigger theory.
I'm glad there's no book readers anymore to be annoying and say, oh, he is or he's not.
But here's another point, right? Because...
Does Brienne kill him in the books?
We're talking about the...
Does Brienne kill him in the books?
Stannis is... I think Stannis is... Was he still alive in the books? I think so.
I'm not a book reader.
Can you guys tell us? Because
I'm actually illiterate.
Behind in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody points out the actor that played him talked crap about Game of Thrones. that's another good point. So Stephen Delane, who plays Stannis, had basically come out and said that, not so flattering things about Game of Thrones. It's silly. He doesn't know why people are so wrapped up in it.
Scandal.
And the only time...
We should have a light-up scandal sign for the...
We should. We'll get it for next week.
Sorry, I feel like we just let our audience down.
The only time an actor does that is if they know their character's dead and they're not coming back. So that was also a point, Stannis dead.
Right.
As far as the Hound coming back, I'd love to see him because I love that
Great character.
But I think that in the show, I doubt it.
What is his face going to look like now?
In the books, maybe. The thing is, the books, there's so much more room for this kind of thing.
You can breathe more. It's like how Lord of the Rings, half of it was just written down song, word for word and stuff. Like, you can do that in a book.
Right.
Can't do that when you have
So I think they're trying to tighten up the story, and it's really important because they're now off the books.
Especially, again, now that we know that they're doing... This is the last season. There's and then after that, 12 episodes left. There's just not enough room.
Supposedly 12 episodes.
Supposedly 12.
And, this is a good point. I missed the comment. Oh, here, Boss Jones. Arya will kill Cersei. But we saw what happened when Arya actually went back to her list.
Yeah, I don't think Arya's going to make that mistake
I think she's
again.
off mission now.
And we know from the trailers
I'd
of
love
this
to see
season that she gets... That the man says, I give second chances, but I don't give third chances. So I don't think she's going to fuck around anymore. I think she's going to play...
I think she's now an assassin.
learned her
I think
lesson.
she plays a part.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she's going to kill Cersei.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I'd kind of like to see that.
Yeah. And speaking of Arya, we can jump to that for a second. It kind of seems like outside of Ned Stark getting snipped, she's at an all-time low in her character.
Who, Arya?
Yeah, she's been doing very well. Even with the Hound, she's been doing well.
Well,
being fed, practicing her water dancing, and now she's really, she's a beggar. She has no one. Even after Ned Stark died, they had the one that taught her the prayer,
right?
That cut her hair off. She always had backup, or if it was
Yoren,
or who's the other bastard Baratheon. Speaking of characters that disappeared,
Gendry.
Maybe he fell out of the boat because he didn't know how to swim.
What has Gendry been doing?
I have no idea. I just want to see him wear the bullhorn helmet because it didn't look like it would fit him. They lost it
because they use that. They say this was his.
You don't think they let him keep it?
That's way back.
Gotcha.
That's way back.
But where is he? I mean, we haven't seen him in, 3 seasons?
Does he matter? Does anyone really want... okay, so let's say Tommen dies. Is Gendry going to get the throne? Does anybody care about Gendry at this point? I feel like maybe all these plot threads from way back, even the Hound...
Right.
Is there room in the story to bring them back?
There could be room in the book, but not in the story, unless,
There could be room in the spin-off that HBO is definitely going to demand, because when this show is over, so many subscriptions get cut.
Right. Oh, that's absolutely.
Boss Jones, I think Tyrion's true lineage is Targaryen. He will ride one of the dragons. I agree that I think Tyrion will ride one of the dragons, and it goes back to the dragon.
I don't think Tyrion's a Targaryen.
I don't know if he's a Targaryen.
He killed his. We know who his mom is. Everyone watched her die.
But that doesn't mean that Tywin was his father. It's like Jon Snow.
You think maybe that's why he hated him so much more?
The theory is that Jon Snow is a Targaryen.
Right.
And that's a pretty solid theory, and I think we're going to see that with the Tower of Joy scene that we know is coming up. When, I don't know, but I hope soon because I can't wait. And that's going to reveal Jon Snow's parentage, most likely. But then the theory is that also Tyrion might be a Targaryen. And Tywin
that seems definitely more far-fetched. I mean, they've been teasing us with who Jon's mother is since the last time him and Ned spoke.
I think there's a very good chance Jon Snow's Targaryen. Yeah. I think it's less likely Tyrion.
Again, as a gambling man, I would put my money on that. I don't know if I would with Tyrion. Can you ride a dragon if you're not a Targaryen?
I don't know. Can you?
Bran can.
No.
You
said you will never walk, but you will fly.
So he'll just be a dragon.
So he's going to warg into a dragon. We know that. Oh, and by the way, Bran is back next episode.
Yes, as are the dragons.
And the dragons.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's hop into Marine because that's where we are. That
John's with Tyrion and
Varys. Honestly, that was kind of boring.
Yeah. I think Dorne was kind of boring,
except for the last 2 seconds. But it seems like where were all the people in Marine? They're just walking around an empty movie set with no extras. I thought Marine was supposed to be congested.
Well, they made a point. They said everyone's basically keeping low profile.
fleeing and stuff like
because
that. Who
things
was
are
that guy in
bad.
the shadows? That was confusing.
There was a guy in the shadows? I missed
Yeah,
it.
there was a guy like looking at them or something like that. I don't know. That was very confusing. I'd like to think that even though Varys and Tyrion are such interesting characters in themselves, I'm hoping that there is some Master of the Harpies that is some very cool character.
That's another thing. It's
that
like
they're
the
gonna
Harpies,
introduce.
it's kind of like... I think that's a great point. It's like if you have a focal point and this is the guy that can be defeated, I think
Right.
it makes it more interesting.
Right.
But
maybe they'll have, again, banter is everything in the world of Game of Thrones, so maybe they're going to have an awesome... Maybe that's... Who's Ian McShane this year? One of my favorite actors.
Ian McShane.
If you guys don't watch Deadwood, go back and watch Deadwood. Ian McShane.
But I don't know. I don't think he's... I don't know if it's been revealed who his character
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if he was Master of the Harpy, I mean, maybe that could be some great thing that's going on.
Let's see. Neum says really bad writing in the Tyrion and Varys scene.
I agree. In fact, you know what?
It was below their abilities.
I'm going to say one thing as a very critical, over-analytical type person. Every once in a while, Varys specifically, even though 90% of his lines are delivered like perfect Varys, I love Varys, every once in a while, and he did it, I don't remember which line it was, where he delivers a line and I feel like he's acting. I don't know which one it was.
But he might be acting because that's his...
Whatever, I don't know if it's that. And that doesn't happen in Game of Thrones every once in
Let's sidetrack from Varys to his best buddy in the world, Littlefinger, Peter Baelish.
Who we didn't see. Nor do they allude to in the trailer.
That's another character that I think could be killed. But
where is he now?
So, last season, the last time we saw Littlefinger, the last storyline with him, he was
everyone's best friend.
He was marrying Sansa off to Ramsay.
Right.
And this was different from the books.
He was in King's Landing last time we saw him.
Oh yeah. He went back in the High Sparrows. He was having his thing. But Littlefinger's story is now different from the books.
Right.
And I don't know.
But he was in King's Landing last time we saw him.
Everyone says he's the most interesting character generally.
Yeah.
But I would agree. I would agree with the earlier seasons, especially when it builds up to he's the one that set off all of these events by getting Jon Arryn killed.
Yeah.
He's the guy. But one of my biggest gripes with the show versus the books, even though I haven't read the books, I read about the books, and my understanding is that in the books, Sansa does not marry Ramsay, but in the show, Littlefinger, who's supposed to be 5 steps ahead of everyone and know everything that's going on in the world and be this master manipulator, he says, I'm going to marry you off to Ramsay Bolton. I don't know much about him, but I'm sure it'll be okay because it'll fit into my plan.
Because I know the Boltons and I can keep an eye on you.
But Littlefinger would never, in keeping with his character, do something so big without doing his homework, without knowing much about Ramsay. So I feel like the second they took a step away from the books, it weakens his character in the show. Right.
Do you think he for a second thought that Sansa escaping was part of his plan? He doesn't know Ramsay's psychotic like that. He has no reason to. He should know that. He should know that. And they're all psychotic. When they
we have
his hounds find
agreements.
They say I can't wait to see what part Ramsay cuts off you this time. I mean, if you're part of that tribe, you're psychotic.
It's like I'm just gonna cut lightning bolts into your head.
I'm gonna give you a Jackass. Remember they go in the old Jackass episodes when they show up with the shaver and they just shave your head? Yeah. Maybe that's what they're cutting off. No one wants that.
That's what Ramsay would be
doing. Take my dick, leave my hair, please.
If you take Ramsay and you put him in the modern world, he would totally be a character in Jackass.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know all those guys...
You don't want to go to sleep next to that.
All those guys are just one step away from being Ramsay Bolton.
Right.
If the rules of society left, they would totally be Ramsay.
Yes, be wary. Let's keep those rules up. So
Littlefinger wants Sansa for himself.
Does he? Or does he want the
He wants power. He wants power. I think he might... He
sees Sansa as a way to power, but if he can get power without Sansa, I don't think he cares. Like when Cersei's like, I'll know you're a man of your word when I see your head on a spike, I think he'll do it.
Jen Lindsay points out, I thought that Littlefinger wanted Sansa for himself because he could not be with her mother. So it's like, I could see
I think he wants Sansa more.
Not more, but
I think to Littlefinger, here's a younger, hotter version of who you loved. And you loved her because of her name, because of the power. She comes with all the power.
Now, what did one of his best.
And
quotes.
she's Jean Grey, so like, boom, she's got a great movie career going on.
She's
She's
Phoenix.
the one.
He says, "Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder."
Yeah.
And right now, he sees Sansa as one of the possible rungs on the ladder to get to that throne.
But if he gets a better ladder, or if he gets there before, if he climbs to the top early or whatever it is.
And we have
got
some
too
other
caught up to the
questions
ladder references. Sorry.
with Sansa. Where's Blackfish, who is
Very good
Catelyn
question.
Stark's brother? Hopefully, we see him soon. I don't know.
We haven't seen.
And also, his brother.
Who's the guy?
Edmure,
Who's the guy? With all the terrible kids.
Walter Frey.
Yeah, we haven't seen him
And
since
Edmure
then.
Tully is married off to his only attractive daughter.
No, he's in a cell.
But he's in a cell. But he
Right.
married her.
Right.
He legitimately married her.
Do you think Blackfish will find Sansa? I mean,
Maybe.
there's enough of them around.
And also, Sansa says, Boss Jones says, will Sansa reunite with the Karstarks?
I'll tell you this, Ned Stark did a very
Maybe.
good thing by having a lot of kids, because he knew. With Cersei only having 3 kids,
He's
that was
running
poor
low.
planning.
He's running
And you
low.
only have 3 kids in Westeros. You need to have at
Ooh.
least 6 or 7 kids.
Josu Botello says Ben Stark. I think you mean Benjen. Maybe Sansa finds Benjen. I've been waiting since
A
season
very
1.
huge wild card.
Where the hell is
Huge
Benjen
wild
Stark?
card.
You couldn't even pick him out of a lineup at this point.
I
because,
could.
I mean, I could because I've rewatched and we're nerds about this
Right.
stuff. Your average Game of Thrones viewer, if you showed them Benjen Stark, said, "Who's this guy?"
Don't remember.
I don't know.
Don't remember.
Some guy.
He's around. I'd like to think he's still alive. I can't imagine that the writers of this show
What
would
if-
he would not write him
What
back
if he
into
turns
it.
out to be one of the
White Walkers?
Walkers? Maybe he is the
I
White
would
Walker.
love to find out
Next king.
that he was the one. No, I would love to find out that he was the one with the long hair that Jon Snow killed at Hardhome.
He did have his hair game.
Yeah, because the other guy, the main dude, has the Bart Simpson haircut.
Right.
And I assume if you get White Walkered, you probably keep your hair, or else why would there be different type of variations? You think White Walkers style themselves? Like look in their ice mirrors and be like, yeah, I guess that's pretty good.
I mean, they look pretty cool. So
I know that Bart Simpson looks awesome.
They might have a
for
stylist.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Benjen fell off the face of the earth. I asked the same thing. Odd One says, I think Littlefinger thought that Sansa would be safe with Ramsay. Maybe. I could see that.
So her escaping with Theon is something that he didn't know. That he
Right.
didn't know was going to
Well,
happen.
but that-
and now that she's lost to him...
That goes back to him not really understanding Ramsay, because if he knew Ramsay, he'd know nobody's safe with Ramsay.
But he didn't really know Ramsay. They had sweet talk
And that
together.
is,
and I promise I'll never hurt her and stuff
But
like
that's
that.
a blemish on his record, because the guy that set off the whole thing in motion with Jon Arryn's death, to make a mistake like this is not in keeping with his character. And
Right.
that is my biggest... I think that is, unless it is revealed that it was part of some even bigger master plan, I think it's the weakest part of the show.
But you know what? The first episode is showing that all these characters, like Cersei and the Red Woman, they were all characters that knew exactly what was going on, and all of a sudden they have no idea what's going on.
And Neum says the Boltons are notorious. So
I mean, look at their flag.
the only way that I mean, if you wanted to keep her safe, he could have. Well, maybe he couldn't have kept her at the Vale.
No, she was a bargaining
So
chip.
maybe this was the closest thing.
Who knows? Who knows?
Whatever. We'll see. I mean, I'm just really, really hoping that they tighten up the Littlefinger storyline, because I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't all add up in the end.
Right. Do you think one of these major characters are going to get eaten by a dragon?
Somebody has to be eaten by a dragon.
No, someone major. No one major has been killed by a dragon yet.
Yeah, I think so.
So, like, I mean, we're certainly at the point where that could happen. We didn't see a dragon yet, but here's a question. So all of this literally takes place the next day, which, by the way, shenanigans alert. This is the problem with doing stuff like that, because when they show Ollie, the kid's clearly...
Ollie's got his driver's license. He's like, how long do I have to be here? I got a date.
Even Sansa looks a little bit older, but like everyone else
we see
is
Bran. Bran is going to look as old as Melisandre.
How did that happen? Okay, so what I'm saying
He's
is
this tall. He should be playing basketball.
Every episode so far, the dragons have literally been doubled in size. From the trailers, they look like they
maybe
are
Bran-
now, but
maybe-
that wouldn't make sense. They should be exactly the same size.
The only character growing as fast as the dragons is Bran.
Well, because I guess he can. Maybe
because
he's
they
one
cast-
with Hodar. Maybe they
It's
merged him
because
and
they
Hodar.
cast a child actor, and you never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get, exactly.
But they put him out of sight, out of mind all last season,
Right.
and dude is about to come back next episode, it looks like.
Right. At least they gave him a year to grow. They gave Ollie 1 day to grow, and boom.
Josu says, I think a dragon will die.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Maybe a dragon... I think at some point dragons will die.
Yes.
There's 3 of them.
I don't know how they die. I don't know if White Walkers can shoot easy ice arrows through
Well, that's
them.
the question. Do the dragons survive to have this epic Song of Ice and Fire showdown with the Night's King and
Does
the
it
White
not?
Walkers?
It seems like that's where they're going.
Because if
That
they get
seems
killed,
to be the overall theme of the show. in
like
its
maybe
entirety.
Tyrion uses them to rescue Daenerys, and one of them gets killed by the Dothraki. I don't know.
He does in the trailer for next week's. We do see Tyrion face to face with either the yellow or the green dragon.
Right.
So he's going to go check in on them or something like that.
He's gonna go feed them.
Right, but we also know that at some point the Drogon shows up over the Dothraki. So we could kind of imagine that that's how she's going to be saved, and not just saved, that's how she's going to have every Dothraki bend a knee, and she's going to take over and become the Khaleesi again.
I don't know
she's
if the
gonna
Dothraki bend knees.
You wouldn't, after seeing dragons, I don't think she's going to have a choice.
I don't think so.
I think I think her dragon maybe will kill the Khal, and she'll be the new Khal. They'll have to,
I mean, that's some women empowerment stuff right there.
I'm just saying.
Did you like the Dothraki scene? Because I miss Khal Drogo.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say is, first of all, the banter with when she's pretending.
The Dornish can kill a dragon with their poison spears. That's a good point. It was pointed out. But I don't know if the Dornish plot with... I think it's going to fizzle out with the Lannisters. I think they're going to wipe each other out. I don't think the dragons
We
are
are
gonna
starting
make
to merge. We're starting to get rid of people and just start merging people
I think the
together.
Dorne thing has been a distraction. I thought the scenes in Dorne were a little bit distracting.
Oberyn was the
But they
most
were okay.
interesting thing to come out of Dorne.
Yeah.
And he's
I'm
gone.
not mad at Nymeria. I think she's cool. I was a little disappointed Tristan got killed off. I was disappointed Dorne got killed
He
off.
was too sweet for the world of Game of Thrones. And
he
same
was.
was the daughter.
Marcella.
They didn't have a chance.
But
They didn't have a
I don't.
chance.
I would be surprised if the dragons ever make it to Dorne.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But maybe what happens is in the end, whatever's left of the Tyrells and the Martells and the Lannisters, whatever's left, maybe they hang in King's Landing.
Maybe
and-
everyone that's not a White Walker, including who's the dude on the boat? What's his name?
Gendry.
Including Gendry, joins the army. You know, maybe it becomes a Marvel Ultimate Alliance type thing. I have no
I
idea.
don't expect that, but
It's possible. It's possible.
So Dothraki. Love seeing the Dothraki again.
I was very excited to re-see their weird culture and their sounds and their beliefs. We've not seen them since season 1.
What was the Khals' name? Did anyone catch that? Because I tried to write it down. It's like
Carl Barrow or Carl Darrow. They're not very...
Khal Bozo.
Anyone know their name or what the name
Khal
was?
Bozo.
Something like that. He seemed awesome. And the people around
I
him
liked
seemed
him.
really cool also. That was great banter.
The fake Khal upset my chi, Moro or something.
Carl Morrow.
Moko, Moro, Khal Moro.
Some type of exotic coffee or whatever it is.
It does sound delicious. Whatever
Does sound
that is.
delicious.
I'll have a cup of Khal Moro.
It's the morning call that you want to get you on your horse, absolutely. I like that. I liked seeing them. I liked re-seeing the Dothraki and how lewd they are.
But
and
I
how
like that
vicious.
this dude was like
Respect the tradition.
totally respectful. That's the thing about the Dothraki.
But-
They have their
But
way.
they kind of rape first,
Oh,
ask
wow.
questions later. Like rape
I was
is-
surprised that they
They go from 0 to 60 of 60 being raped like pretty damn
like,
quickly.
why did Daenerys get to go that long so she could actually bring this point up?
Because how I think of how exotic she looked.
Like she's a special treat.
They thought exactly.
We better give to Khal Moro.
Yeah, I think they were just under the impression, you know, everyone wants to rise in rank. Everyone wants to be the Dothraki sitting around the Khal. Maybe if we bring this awesome gift of this, you know,
Jones, I was
girl or something
surprised.
like that. Who knows?
Yeah, but I kind of like the way how she didn't drop the name. Like she's not a name dropper. She drops her own name on Daenerys Stormborn, the Unburnt, the Mother
Right.
of Dragons, the Last King of Scotland, yada yada yada.
That's King of Scotland.
And it's like, I don't really care who you are. Oh yeah, Khal Drogo.
That was the only thing that got her respect, though. So now what? She's banished to a tower?
So basically, there's a retirement plan for the widows
She's
of Khal.
going to the hospice.
It's basically they become nuns.
They become nuns.
right? And Daenerys is not the nun type.
Right.
So anyway,
She definitely gets abused. I saw her clothes get ripped off in the trailer. She gets. I think I saw that.
Well, they probably say,
Did I imagine that in my own sick head? Maybe I imagined.
I think I've seen that in the previews.
Yeah.
But
we could both be sick.
But it's probably one of those things like,
I think
okay,
we probably are.
You're a widow of a Khal, so you need to be Dothraki.
Or maybe the priests over there are rapists too. I mean, they're Dothraki priests. Who knows?
She needed to listen and get some intel. That's another thing. Good on her. Good on Daenerys.
She plays that trick all the goddamn time.
I
Classic
love that.
Daenerys.
So like the dudes on the horses are like having this whole conversation
about what her pubes look like,
and she's just keeping her mouth shut. Like she has tremendous willpower.
Yeah.
When it comes to keeping her mouth shut, and it reminded me of whenever
she takes it on the cheek.
The guy she sold the dragon to, and he keeps talking about her. She's like, this idiot. Look, she's stupid looking.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then she's just like,
boom.
Yeah.
I speak every language there is.
I heard everything you said.
Yeah. Tyrion does not speak every language.
She needed to listen and get some intel. I love that.
That was a smart move.
Like how she said you and your millions of names.
Blondes are not bimbos in Westeros. That's for sure.
Well, she's not technically blonde. She's got white hair.
She's platinum.
She's platinum.
Yes, she's platinum.
Okay, let's wind it down here.
We're winding it down. Okay, so that was the last scene. Then we see Arya. Sucks to be Arya. I'm going to assume they reteach her how to fight as a blind person, and then by the time she gets her vision back, she's Daredevil ×2.
I was totally having Daredevil.
Is there going to be an Arya Daredevil Netflix HBO?
I think there needs
you
to
think
be a
HBO is going to fight Netflix at some point, like a DC Marvel type thing? They're already doing it. Fantastic. All right, not much to talk about Arya. They're going to bring her back, but they're going to put her through the meat grinder before that happens.
Will she ever seek revenge again?
I don't know.
But if she doesn't, is there a point to her story?
No, we know she gets a second chance. We saw that in the trailers, so that's something that was.
Daenerys is the original Frozen. Yeah, yes, they totally copped that look.
You think the Dothraki will curl her hair or something like that? Maybe.
And then she'll break out in song. I hope so.
This is very possible.
I would love to see a Game of Thrones musical. I'm just putting it out there. HBO, you're really, I'm sure, shaking in your boots because the show is going to come to an end very soon.
Buckets of Blood.
Give us a musical spinoff.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
I'll throw Buckets of Blood for free.
I'll
be your guy. We'll both be blood bucketing.
One says Arya will be a force, but
you think she'll be more magical in some way?
I think she's going to be like Jack and Hagar, but
think she'll start talking all weird. Like, will she be weird when she gets her sight back?
I hope so.
And not quick-witted Arya.
They made a cast parody already. That's a good point. They did the Red Nose Day. It was kind of like a musical episode. Did you ever see that? Last year for Red Nose Day, which is this big thing that
what religion do you adhere to?
It's the Lord of Light and the Red-Nosed God.
Oh, because Game of Thrones is real. I forgot.
So they did this.
He's more religious. I'm the Game of Thrones atheist, but I still love the world.
Right.
He's the Orthodox.
Well, the night is dark and full of terrors.
Right.
So
it was kind of cold out.
They did this amazing parody. It was like a Saturday Night Live style parody where they had they did like Game of Thrones musical episode behind the scenes where all cast members were singing songs. And like Daenerys said, she sings Rastafarian, Targaryen.
Right.
Anyway, it's amazing, and everyone should watch that if you
So be it. So musical aside, we're at the last scene with...
The UK have it every year, and the US tried to do it. Yeah. Arya will act like Robin Hood. She could be. That would be a good way for her story to not get back on the path of the main plot.
In what way? In what she was supposed to be when she meets the oyster guy?
Well, my thing with Arya is that her whole story is she's seeking revenge for the Starks, right?
Not anymore.
But
yes, that is the core of her character.
She cannot continue that path.
Yeah.
Or else she'll stay blind.
She got a good one in while she
not be effective.
Yeah.
So what is the only satisfying plot development for her is if she becomes like a Robin Hood and she becomes like Jack and Hagar and she's just out there doing good. Like, I could live with it.
I do think she will, before this series ends, re-meet one of her family members. I would love to see her, Needle, and Jon Snow be reunited. Her after being blind to becoming a crazy magical assassin.
I'd love to see it,
and Jon Snow after he's been resurrected.
I don't think it's going to happen. Let's answer a couple questions. Wrap it up.
Because we already spoke about the Red Woman. That was the last scene. There's nothing more to talk about.
Rickon, where is Rickon? That's a quick, easy answer.
Still with the Wildling girl?
Well, probably.
Yeah.
with Asha and.
Well, do we care? We should. I don't know. I don't know if I really care. It's too much.
Okay,
to
look. Starks, Arya turning into an assassin.
Jon Snow becoming either a White Walker or the 999th.
I don't see him becoming the Lord of Winterfell. He could become the king of everything, but he won't be the Lord of Winterfell.
Oh, over Daenerys?
Sansa could inherit Winterfell. She could rule.
They're not going to kill her. Not this season.
She's already suffered enough. Rickon could become the Lord of Winterfell. Because Bran.
It would be an easy thing to make him do because no one else.
I don't see Bran retiring.
No. But I think Bran is going to become above that. I think Bran's going to be too intertwined with the whole White Walker thing.
Neum says
Bran's becoming Neo from the Matrix. That's pretty much where it's going.
Neum says Rickon will be there this season. He was in Belfast. I wonder if he's also this tall. And there's a lot of...
He's got a beard.
Hodor will be the king, calling it. I'm with you.
He'd make a great king.
Vote for Hodor.
Vote for Hodor, absolutely.
And they'll take back Winterfell. So, Jon Snow.
Hodor and Donald Trump have similar haircuts and similar builds also. They're both, maybe Hodor
and they're always repeating the same
They're always repeating the same nonsense.
And over again.
And different people interpret what he says in different ways.
So
Trump for Hodor, 2016.
Rosanna.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna
please say he's alive regarding Jon Snow. Jon Snow is not alive, but
he's gonna be alive.
Resurrected.
He's the first name when the cast credits come up at the beginning of the show.
Will he be alive next episode or the next one or the next?
I'm gonna go episode 4. I'm gonna go episode 4. Is when they're gonna bring him back.
It could be the midway point. It could be episode 5.
One of those, so that they could have.
But also, how much time will be developing? How much time will pass between when they killed him, because this is like the day after last night's episode, and they bring him back to life? Because if his body is cold for too long, does that mean anything? Somebody pointed out, and I missed it. Somebody pointed out that he might be in Ghost. Like he warged into Ghost.
Ooh.
And I was actually watching.
Ooh.
I was watching Ghost.
I like that. Who said that? You know his name?
I missed the comment.
Shout out to that person. I'm all flush now just thinking about
Aldrich. So we know that the Starks can warg, and we also know from the Brothers Without Banners that every time they bring someone back, there's a little less of them. So the theory is, if Jon Snow, when he's being killed, wargs into Ghost, then they can bring back Jon Snow's body and he can unwarg.
Is Ghost going to sit at the table in front of him?
And he won't be any less than he was. And that's what I was watching for. Is Ghost giving us any signs? Is he sitting there playing poker? And he goes to the body and he pokes in the hand. Poker. But it wasn't like, if I'm Jon Snow in Ghost, I'm using my paw and I'm writing, "Hey guys."
Yeah. The thing is, they put a lot of stock in the direwolf. It's not really that formidable. In fact, an amazing fighter is better than a wolf. The wolf can be killed by relatively.
The wolf is scary though.
They're scarier, but they're not wearing armor. They can be killed by a crossbow. I mean, it's no dragon. That's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure.
So
to wrap up a little bit, one thing we don't know what's going to happen with the wildlings versus.
Do you think Jon Snow will kill Ollie?
No.
No.
No, I don't think if Jon Snow came back as a rational person,
says he'll be less caring for assholes like Ollie. I don't think he will.
I felt it when Ollie killed him. I understood where Ollie came from, and what was
Ollie needs to die. Bets on Jon back in episode 3 because it's called Oathbreaker.
Oh, is that how do you know what the episodes are called?
That was released because that's a big.
Oathbreaker can refer to Jon Snow in the Night's Watch.
Well, don't give spoilers to us. What is that all about?
Ed will kill Ollie.
Cut that guy off. Cut his Wi-Fi off.
Ed will kill Ollie. I think that could happen. That makes sense.
That could be.
Or the wildlings could kill Ollie.
He's not going to get it bad. He's not going to get. He's still a kid. He's not going to get it bad.
Maybe Davos kills Ollie and he's torn about it.
I could see Jon Snow forgiving him if he comes back.
Or Ghost. Maybe Ghost kills Ollie.
I don't see that happening.
I got a feeling Ollie will be first. Those sand chicks need to go. Oathbreaker is Brienne's sword. Oathkeeper is Brienne's sword, because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Some people are saying episode 3 is called Oathbreaker. It's about Jon Snow coming back and the Night's Watch. I've been thinking that it's about Brienne and the sword Oathkeeper.
Right.
So it's one or the other.
The thing is, what does an oath have to do with Jon Snow's storyline?
Because of the Night's Watch.
Well, because he took an oath?
Because he took an oath that
death lets him out.
That's the thing. So I think.
So it would be Oathbreaker would make more sense because if he comes
But
back
that's the episode
after
name.
death, you know what? Since he died and he is released from his vows, if he comes back, maybe he can take over Winterfell and become King of the North because he's no longer obliged to that oath.
I hope a White Walker kills Ollie. That pretty much satisfies everything.
I could see that happening. Or maybe a wildling. I don't know. I hope they bring Tormund back as a
And
player.
some Nukes points out that I think he's referring to Tormund, the wildling, might kill Ollie.
That I could see.
Okay.
Or do you think? Hold on. Do you think Tormund and Ollie are going to go at it? Because Ollie hates him the most.
Ollie
Tormund-
hates the wildlings, so.
I'm saying, but Tormund was one of the guys that led. The other guy's not alive anymore. But Tormund, everyone that the only person from the people that raided his village that's really still alive, of prominent characters, is Tormund. The other guy got it with a hammer, and the girl, and she's done.
Yeah. Tormund's the main one.
Tormund's the main guy. I hope they bring him in. Anyway, so next week we finally get to see Brandon. I don't know what's going to happen. That's going to be its own thing. Tune in next week for that.
And we'll see the Tower of Joy in the flashback one of these days.
Absolutely.
As soon as we see that, we're going to be on here the next day, and we're all going to talk about that because that's huge.
Definitely. We get to see Frankenmountain hoping in action. It
I
looked like...
cannot wait for the mountain to go crazy.
Unless they all back down. Do you think that we're going to see Tommen? I don't know what's going on over there. I just know that there's going to be an encounter, and I know that Jaime gets to the High Sparrow. There is going to be banter going on over there. And again, like we said before, dragons. We finally get to see dragons, not Drogon. We're going to see one of the locked up ones that's chained down over there. But that's going to be exciting. So tune in next week. Same time, same place.
Channel, same.
This has been Thrones Talk with Joe and Luke. And by the way, we are streaming this from New York City. Did we ever say where we were? Did they know that? I don't know. You're the technical
I
guy.
think
Does
it
say
comes
New
up.
York?
It says New York, United States.
Okay, what's up? So shout out to New York, shout out to Westeros, and
So
shout
if you're
out.
having a viewing party in New York,
Absolutely.
we're local.
So don't forget to retweet, and I don't know, you do the technology.
Tweet us. Tweet at.
I still use
Essential-
chalkboards.
You can tweet at Essential GOT for Game of Thrones, and let's talk next week, man. This is
Episode 2. Do we know what that's called?
I don't know what episode 2. If anyone knows what episode 2 is called, let me know.
We can find it out.
And Brooklyn in the house.
Okay,
Our
excellent.
neighbors.
Come visit. Come visit. Anyway, so
Across the
again,
narrow sea.
I'm Joe and this is Luke. Thanks for sticking by. We'll see you next Monday at, I don't know what time, around 6:30.
Probably like 6:30. I have a crazy schedule on Monday.
This is a show that goes by time-ish, 6:30-ish. So thanks for tuning in.
Watch for the notifications. And play
Dun,
us out.
dun, 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 dun.